Mohammed and Asma, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I'll start by introducing your panel and then asking you to introduce yourselves, and then we'll move to the presentation. So my name's Henry Lusengor. I am the founder and CEO of Promoting Economic Pluralism, which set up the Festival for Change. Lalit?
My name is Lalit Kishore Bhati. I am an architect and urban planner by profession, and I am based in Auroville. Auroville is international cultural township in South India near Pondicherry, further south of Chennai. And we are 3,000 people from 55 countries. We are volunteers here, and Auroville is engaged in wide-ranging holistic living activities and many sustainable practices. One can just check out on the net. It has a wonderful website. Yeah, and I'm engaged in many learning activities. Yeah.
Thank you, Lalit. And Lindsay?
Hi, I'm Lindsay Hall from the Real Ideas organisation based in the southwest of the UK. And we do lots and lots of work with young people, actually across the world really, and others, supporting them to set up different types of social enterprises, community businesses, solving a wide range of different problems. And we've done a few ourselves as well. So yeah, lots of experience in this sort of space.
Thank you, Lindsay. Mohammed?
So thank you, everyone, and it's great to meet you all. And I am Mohammad Raid, and I have a teammate with us, Asma, and we are joining from Dhaka, the capital of Bangladesh. And we'd like to present, if you permit us to share our screen now. You are on mute.
Asma, if you could just introduce yourself as well.
Yes, hello everyone. I'm Asma Arisha, currently studying, we are both studying computer science and engineering here in North South University, Dhaka, Bangladesh. And we are very enthusiastic about building a sustainable world, and hence we are today here with our projects.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mohammed, Asma, and welcome. Congratulations for getting into to be a finalist. We think all the finalists are winners in their own right, because all of your projects have been so impressive. So I'd like to now invite you to give a short 5-minute presentation, and then we can open the discussion and talk about your project.
Okay, then I would like to share my screen. Take a moment. Can you see my screen?
Yes, that's good.
Yes.
Okay, so hello again. I am Mohammad Raid, and our project, Bottle Economy, is a win for the poor people of Bangladesh and a win for their environment. COVID-19 is compounding an already huge social and economic problem. Due to social distancing, more people are falling into poverty, creating a massive food insecurity as the industries are closed and incomes stopped. Alongside this, we have a huge environmental problem. That is, due to the throwaway culture, a huge amount of plastics are consumed in Bangladesh, which is a big threat to our oceans and marine species. All of these problems are casually interconnected in all sorts of known and unknown ways. With the pandemic escalated this and affecting the well-being and balance of the wider ecosystem. And we want to intervene in this complex system to generate desired economic, social, and environmental outcomes by providing the poor community with extra earning opportunities and with scopes by they can utilize locally available resources with a convenient method, and build a recycling mentality through making them realize that this garbage waste is worth of some value. So the scope of our project lies in both the urban and rural areas, as we target this 78 and 22% for this project. And most of the time, our concern remains with improving the condition of the poor residing in the urban in the rural areas. We often miss to plan out projects concerning the urban poor. Hence, our focus remains with both areas with a goal to create development in general. Our model uses USSD, which is a communication protocol of mobile companies where users can interact with the system by putting codes or simple numbers. And as it's familiar to some 160 million Bangladeshis, and it doesn't require expensive phones or data packs, it will be an efficient way to establish communication at a local level, as well as provide a unique software interface to the recycling companies through which they can monitor and coordinate recycling activities. Coming to the existing market, this sector is already generating $250 million in revenue and employing millions of people. So just think about the possibility, how many more people can get benefited from this when recycling of the remaining part is ensured. So we are creating a system where people can earn extra as well as contribute in building a greener world. In this model, we generate revenue by taking a small percentage from the recycling companies based on the waste collection amount. So this is the progress of our pre-test phase so far. And this will help us to understand the mindset that is existent among the general mass regarding the exact concept of waste collection. It started out small, but within a week, we have received a very good number of responses from the local people. And our plan is completely in alignment with the Sustainable Development Goals. And our mission is to build a sustainable world. In fact, in 2 years from now, we see our team touching 500,000 lives and reduce the pollution by 10% at least by implementing this project. Having developed a recycling mentality and given the bottom of the population a foothold in the local economy, we hope to learn from this and explore the potential for future interventions, advancing even more of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. We would love to hear your thoughts on this. So I would like to conclude by asking you a simple question. Are we doing enough to build a sustainable world? If not, then why not start today? We wholeheartedly welcome you to join our team Green Beans, and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. That's a very impressive presentation and very well put together indeed. I'd like to start this time with maybe asking Lindsay to ask some questions.
Thank you very much, Mohammed and Asma. That's yeah, brilliant, very excellent presentation, and clearly really well thought through. One of the things I'd like to understand a little bit more is, I suppose, is just that interface between the people who are collecting plastic and the codes and the companies who are buying it, and how are you going to ensure that that is that continues to be a fair exchange? My experience from projects not mildly, not that dissimilar to this, are that the companies can start off saying they're going to be very generous and then not be as things go on. So I'd be really interested to understand a bit more about the mechanics of what the software does.
So actually, so to reach the people, we are using USSD. Actually, we are using USSD for two reasons. That is to connect people with local wholesalers, that is the poor people with the local wholesalers, and secondly, to register the local wholesalers in our system. So we are using USSD because it's the existing people, the people are familiar with this existing technology. And for example, about 160 million Bangladeshis use it. And we know that on average, at least one person from each family has a mobile phone, or in the worst case scenario, let's say a few from each community at union or wards. So reaching out to the person will eventually connect us to the rest of the people, because USSD is just a way to let the shopkeepers know of the user's location so that they can follow up with the poor people who possess an inherent discomfort in handling technological devices, and with moving on to the further to the process. And the shopkeepers then, by getting the location wise from the nearby locations, they can connect with them and guide them to the rest of their process in their local language. And for the for the recycling companies, we are providing a software interface that this USSD, all the data sets of this USSD will be connected into a data center of the telecom companies. And from there, they will be connected to a software where they can monitor that which shop has how many amount of waste are accumulated, and is it enough to collect them and send a truck to load and load the waste from the shops.
And I suppose, so maybe I wasn't clear, how are you going to make sure that the collectors actually get a fair price for the plastics that they bring in? Is there something in the system which means that that's actually going to be fair?
So actually the individual collectors sell it for a nominal price. That is, the scavengers sell it for a very nominal price. And its price scale up to a large amount as it's traded multiple times before it ultimately reaches to the recycling companies in the existing system that is without USSD. So most of the profits of this trade are taken away from the traders who are involved between this cycle of scavengers and recyclers. And through this project, we are trying to connect these scavengers and recyclers while limiting the role of intermediaries. And if this project is implemented, then these scavengers, as well as the day laborers like the construction workers who face the uncertainty of not getting job the next day, might get food security for a day. Like if they collect 15 bottles of 500 ml or 3 bottles of 5 liters, then they can get 15 taka, which is around 20 cents. And it's enough to get a full plate of rice for one person in Bangladesh.
Brilliant. I think what you've just described, which is to try and make sure more money gets to the people who are scavenging, brilliant. I really love that. I think that's great.
If I might add a small point, since you were asking about the technical security as well of the system. So we, in our country, one of the leading telecom companies here in Bangladesh is Banglalink, and they use InfoBip's S-Gate solution, which is basically a gateway that controls the traffic of SMS and USSD, and which ensures that there is no fraud activities going on. So if we get to implement this, then we will definitely go in contract with the telecom companies so that we can implement this at the security level as well.
Excellent. No, I think that sounds really good. Yeah, brilliant.
Lalit, would you like to follow up on that question? Because I think this question of power and the sort of where does this go, it seems really important.
Yes, I would like to first of all congratulate the young team for this brilliant idea, and also particularly the question which Lindsay asked very clearly. So it's a very appropriate elimination of the middle circle, and one can hope and imagine that the person who is working on the ground for collection, they are getting the fair price and improving their life. So it is very important. I have few points and then I'll come to this power question. So I don't know if you are familiar, there was a very famous, you heard about the example of Curitiba in Brazil, very famous city, Curitiba, it for its public transportation, quite special. So the famous mayor of that city, he was very young. I think he's now retired, and he was retired as a governor of that province, Jaime Lerner. So when he became the mayor at a very young age, so the Bay Area.
Oh, We've lost Lalit all of a sudden. Um, Maybe just while Lalit comes back, I was just wondering if you'd thought further by, well, no, he's back.
Hello, you can hear me? I don't know what.
Yes, we can hear you. You got to the sort of Bay Area, an example you were talking about.
I don't know what happened. It was a blackout a bit. So he asked people to fish the garbage. So he was a very visionary. He fished the garbage. He gave people the food in exchange of that fishing the garbage, eggs, fruits, many things. So it worked as a circular economy. So people fished out the garbage, and he was giving them the food what we needed. The area got clean. The tourism started enhancing. Many such things he was engaged. So if my point is also, if this activity is interlinked with a general city or society improvement, for example, if it is linked to those areas and possibilities, I think it will be a brilliant even strategy to reach out for the improvement of the living surroundings. So it has that potential the way I see it. It is not only limited to the collection of bottles and giving some enhanced economical a possibility for the poor, those who are at the lower end of the society economically. I have one more comment. You can hear me fine? This is
Yes,
fine. I
yes.
can't see.
Yes.
I can't see others. So
Mm,
one comment is the name is bottle economy, maybe by some choice, but essentially it is you are dealing with the plastic, right? It is not only the bottle collection. You are dealing with multiple things, I'm assuming. So uh, so this goes very well from the poverty point of view, that the first thing is you need to eradicate poverty, otherwise that mindset is very complex. So with that is fine, but also be careful or intervene at an appropriate way and enhance the value chain so that it does not lead to a mindset that it is fine to keep on polluting because there is a system which will keep on collecting.
mm,
So, so you have developed a very brilliant system, technically superior, works well, everybody gets their share, everything is accountable, transparent. So it is fine, very good to develop it, but just to keep in mind, energetically, you have to keep in mind, it should not be an alternative that we keep on polluting, keep on generating more plastic, because we have found a solution. I'm not sure that is the really solution, because the recycling industry, which level of recycling is happening, where these bottles are getting connected, is recycling plant nearby, what is the quality of recycling and the pollution that plant generates, and what do they make out of that plastic. See, the plastic gets downgraded every time. So this is, one has to be very clear about bit long term and the holistic vision. So it is good to start to provide people this possibility, but perhaps you are actually tapping human resources essentially. So if you intervene some other things, either alternative possibility, craft, keeping the pollution, you are basically tackling pollution and bringing an economic solution. So either cloth bag or some other products or something more on those lines. So I think some amount of diversity, maybe down the line, not immediately, I agree. If something of those points are integrated within this, I think then the system will be very robust. So maybe you develop your foothold, you penetrate the system and bring people in and hook them to some network, which is quite fine. But I'm not able to see this will remain and it will sustain well only on plastic economy. One has to be careful.
Right, sir. We
You,
totally
you
agree with you.
understand? Yeah.
Yes, definitely, sir. This is a very good point. In fact, we have in mind that we need to build an education, a curriculum for the people to let them know, to educate them regarding the usefulness of not making waste or throwing waste here and there. So our main purpose would also be to educate them so that we can use that mentality of not creating more waste, and in the future, our long-term plan also exists that we might scale up to using paper packaging at some point. So the possibilities are there to explore for us, and hopefully by your help and from our mentors' help, we can definitely make changes accordingly.
Has something been tested? Have you tested something on this in a
yes.
pilot scale?
Yes, we have tested, that is the pre-test phase, that is previous to the pilot phase. So the pretest we have conducted in the Bhatara, that is the Thana of Dhaka, one Thana of Dhaka, and one in Dinajpur, which is 400 kilometers away from the capital and lies in the northern part of the country. So you could say that's in the rural part. And before the start of the pre-test, we took a price chart from the recycling companies and asked the shopkeepers to buy with that price. And to say that what we've been through during these days, that they were surprised that why are we willing to buy plastics at a higher rate, because plastics are sold at a very low price in rural areas. Then we explained to them that you'll also make money out of it. Then they became interested in it and agreed to be a part of it. And one thing that I would like to mention about the that you pointed out, that is our goal should not be only the plastics. That is, so currently we have plans to include plastic waste of HDP, that is high density polymer polyethylene, HDP, and LDPE, that is, which is actually not recyclable in Bangladesh, LDPE. So what the recycling companies does is collect LDPE and make scraps out of it and export to other countries. And for HDPE, we have a recycling demand that is very high. And for the other parts, that is other categories, that is the styrofoams and other harmful plastics, and they say that they don't have currently have a price for that, because to actually make scraps or reproduce them at an industry scale, they would need a higher amount of those plastics, because they would need to bring more higher machineries, improved machineries. So they asked us to create awareness first and check waste of those types too, not only just PET bottles or other recyclable plastics.
Thank you. Can I just expand on the issue of the sort of further holistic development? Because I think, Lalit, that you've talked a bit about the sort of business expanding on the recycling, and also obviously trying to not to encourage more waste to recycle it, which is absolutely crucial. But there's another sort of dimension, isn't there? I mean, there is widespread development of these sorts of platforms to link providers and customers around the world, and often they're seen as quite exploitative, and partly because the people who are providing the services have no rights, have no say, and so on your slide at the end, I think you said something about empowering or giving more say to the people who are going to be involved. What are your thinking is, how could that work?
Well, actually, can you hear me?
Yes.
So in Bangladesh, the main recycling company that we are willing to go in contact with is Adnan PSF. And they are the only company here in Bangladesh who have the license to import 5,000 metric tons of plastics from abroad for recycling purposes. And they recycle it and make use of the waste that they import. So what we are trying to do is, they will have the opportunity to get that amount of waste, not maybe that amount of waste, but a certain amount of waste from the local community. That so here the money that they used to spend to import from abroad will be saved, right? So here the opportunity of exploitation remains, and we want to study and think about it in the future as well. But for now, we think that since we are giving them the opportunity to earn from the local community, they might not exploit the local shopkeepers or the trader or the individual collectors that we are talking about, or who are our main focus point here in our project. So this could be an opportunity. So we hope that this will be, there won't be any exploitation regarding that.
But presumably this is a private
like
company whose mission is to make as much money as possible, is it? Or have they any social objective? Have they any element that you can, any wider vision for what they're doing than just making maximizing their returns?
So actually, this is the company. We are not really sure about the social intervention that they have right now. We know the business that goes on, but what makes our idea unique is we are the only people who are not only focusing on waste management. We are the people who want to bring social impact by improving the mindset of people regarding waste collection. We want to bring economic impact by giving the scope of extra earning opportunity to the poor people, and also we want to benefit the ultimate economic growth by not having people to spend money to import from abroad.
So I know I can see your purposes and motivation. I think are social, are wider. I suppose I'm just wondering if you're dealing with one company and there's only one company and you only have a choice of one company, and that company's motivation is to maximize its returns and pay as little as possible to the people who provide its materials for recycling, that may create problems because they are bound to exploit people as far as they possibly can.
Right, absolutely. I totally agree that the possibility remains because they would want maximum profit. What is their benefit from the social point of view, right? So we want to build a community of people. We want to involve the stakeholders. Maybe we can persuade them by telling them the ultimate benefit they will be having from this project, by giving us the social benefit that we need, the security that the poor people need in our community. So we are willing to persuade them. We hopefully will be able to do it, but we will need proper directions for that as well.
So I would like to add to that they are recycling about around 70% of the plastic waste that are produced. So they do not have the capability to go in a wider.
We lost them.
Sorry, we've lost Mohammed.
Yeah, we can't hear, some net connection.
Asma, did you want to add? Well,
I think
how are you going to, I mean, what's interesting is how you can bring pressure to bear on this company to widen its perspective. I think that.
And they can't hear, I guess. They are not.
Neither of them are. Well, we are.
I think their net is, yeah.
This is the challenge of, Mohammed, are you back?
Yeah, Ashma is more.
Asma, can you hear us?
Yes, sorry, we are having a problem with the internet connection. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. So yes, are there any angles to bring pressure to bear on this company to widen its perspective in terms of having some responsibility to the recyclers?
Sorry, could you repeat the question?
Sorry
there was
a technical problem.
Okay, yeah, it was.
So I got the question.
Sorry, Mohammed, are you there?
Right, we can't hear you again.
Sorry.
Can you hear me now?
Now, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the point I was talking about is to make the local economy more sustainable by, that, as Asma said, recycling companies, and one imports 50,000 metric tons of plastic, and they import and make products as well as.
Can you switch your camera off, Mohammed, and that might help?
You can switch off your cameras. Maybe that will help.
No, I think he's.
Frozen again.
I think he's frozen, and we're running out of time.
Yeah, sir. Sorry, sir. Could you repeat the question that you asked?
My question is really as to what potential do you have to influence the company to have a broader perspective beyond just maximizing profit. Are there any angles of way to so it might be more responsible to the community, whether you could build it into some sort of wider partnership that has a public purpose around it, for instance?
Right. So our plan is to involve certain partnership and collaboration with certain group of people. So our main partnerships will definitely include the recycling companies, who are the bigger stakeholders here, apart from the scavengers and the local shopkeepers. Also, we will have to partner with the telecommunication companies, and also the volunteering group of people, and youth platforms. So our plan to persuade them is to involve the youth platform and also the volunteering communities. We, being engineers, are part of a big community of engineers, that is IEEE. And IEEE has local student branches in every university of Bangladesh, almost every university of Bangladesh. So we want to involve the volunteers from there to help us in getting the permission, by showing them the bigger picture, by showing them the social impact that resides here. And also there is this youth policy forum that is a newly founded policy forum in Bangladesh, who are relentlessly working to improve the policies against environmental, political, economic sectors. So our plan is to collaborate with them so that they can bring in more stakeholders, more policy people, so that we can bring a route map system that can help us to persuade the big companies.
I think that sounds a very sound strategy, because the more stakeholders, the bigger the policy factors you can bring in.
Yes,
I think the better. And even thinking about setting up some sort of organization that brings all the different interests and also gives a say to the people who are recycling, so that you can try and create a space where you can debate wider questions of economic development, environment, social, and so on.
So
yes,
there's one
some
point
collective
that
setup will be helpful.
That I missed, Henry sir, that he pointed that what about if they begin to exploit the scavengers, that they certainly they want to buy at a very lower price. So what they are currently doing is they are buying from the local wholesalers, that is local wholesalers sell it to the district level wholesalers, and then it goes to the divisional level wholesalers. So price increases at every stages. So they're already buying at the higher price. So what we are just doing is that offering the same product with the same price, with just being limiting the role of intermediaries, that is and connecting the scavengers and the recyclers. And another point is that how they are benefiting is that in Bangladesh, people dump both recyclable and non-recyclable waste in the same bin instead of using separate bins. So in case of plastic waste from, suppose, food packaging, it remains dirty, and when kept with other plastic waste causes contamination, which reduces the value of waste. So which will try to educate them about the economics of waste through creating a innovative governance mechanism, so that they understand the economics of waste and earn more from it.
I would suggest then that maybe you quantify how much more money they're making, and then campaign for them to put that into a fund that could be the basis for wider social and environmental purposes, which could be the basis for a collective organization as well. So I think having that angle and knowing the benefits they're getting, because otherwise they will just pocket it. Taking out the middleman is a way of just making more money. And so if you can identify that money, and part of your campaign is for them to put that into a trust fund or a publicly controlled fund by the many stakeholders, then you can use that as the basis for change more wider systems change.
Thanks.
Yeah. And I
Thank you
think
very much.
This is
what
definitely a
what
great point.
what I'm getting a message from Henry is you are replacing the middleman in a different way. Your technological thing is replacing, so you keep your charter, your value system quite intact and keep it very upright, and you have to use your network's strength and its negotiating power to give the equal and fair chance to these people around which this system is being built. You guys can also be in touch with me if you want later. We have
Sure,
our
sure.
internal Oroville Ecoservice waste management organization. They do almost 30 to 40 types of segregation. We have a very well developed system, many barrels, even a waste segregation is source is happening for last 40 years. Some people have gone ahead here and they have developed even a curriculum called Gabbology.
Oh,
And
yes.
that kind of activity, so this happens with the passion of people, those who are engaged in these kind of activities. So that passion and engagement is the key to bring change. We need to engage to transform. So these people, those who are into this Gabbology, they have gone and their book of Gabbology has now come in a state board curriculum. So that is the power of a good work. So when you do the work so meticulously with good intention, I think it finds the way. Of course, one needs to make effort towards it. I don't know about Bangladesh, but in India we have a corporate social responsibility clause, CSR funds. So 2% of their profit or overall turnover, they are supposed to be assigning and utilizing it for some social responsibility or activity changes. So if you have those clauses, so you need to understand you cannot remain a simple technological middleman.
No.
Yes,
You need to
and
understand this. So you may have started with that because you both are from computer science background. So I like the possibility of you people using your technological background and thinking of like computer putting all the circuits together. But what we are dealing is a very live society and very complex human nature change, which has not much change in the last 10,000 years. So you need to keep that in mind and build around that. And there are many good practices. So be prepared for a much larger role first for yourself. Mentally be ready. And then I think change will happen. All the best.
Thank you,
so
Lalit.
Good work.
Lindsay,
can
did
Good
I
you
work.
want to say
add
something?
Yeah,
something? Yeah.
just the I suppose just really to support that and to say for lots of companies, if you can help them to get their narrative right, that actually is a real benefit, because it's that if people have a choice, their customers, and they're making a choice about who they buy from, if they're able to buy essentially the same product, recycled plastic, and they've got two choices, one which is adding extra value versus another which isn't, that can be very attractive, but you'll probably have to help them to tell that story. So a bit like Lalit is saying, I would say that you probably need to start thinking about who might else you work with, who's really good at marketing and communications and telling stories, so that it becomes something of a movement. It becomes something where it's much harder not to be doing the right thing than it is to, just to carry on as they are. And there's some really smart people who've done that in different ways around the world. So again, similarly, if after this you want to get in touch, I'm really happy to try and connect you with some of those, because there've been some great movements where, people have created energy, and therefore that becomes a way of doing things in a positive way.
Thanks, Lindsay. And I might say, just a final thought, if this company is effectively a monopoly and has a license, that also makes it vulnerable to losing the license. So, so it may feel that they need to have a more social and be seen to providing broader benefits in order to justify their monopolistic license. But so that might be another angle. But you can clearly see that we've all been very excited by your project, and we think it has huge potential. And so I'd like to thank you very much for joining us and presenting. We'll be launching a public vote, public awareness campaign on Monday with your information and so on to get your brilliant ideas further attention. And we'll obviously be helping you connect with people to help make it happen. And writing an article about your activities, again, to hopefully help you make your vision happen. So thank you very much again, and we look forward to further conversations.
All the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'd like to really thank you all for giving us the opportunity today to be present here. We'd like to get in touch with all of you. And also we'd like to thank our mentors who have been helping us all throughout, guiding us, Nicolette ma'am and Mike sir, who have been helping us. So hopefully we'll get in touch soon.
Thank you very much. Okay.
All the best.